Hey folks, Dude here, and well, that's right, I'm a trucking dude. That's right, I'm a driving dude. I'm a driving dude and a trucking dude, driving a truck. Where am I off to? Well, I'm off to an area, off into, I'm off to New Jersey. I'm running Mrs. Dude's cousin's son's tow truck, and, looks like I gotta tow myself a car. What do I got? Hopefully you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. I'm kind of cheating angles a little bit. I'm trying to drive, so you got to stay on top of things when you're driving a truck. You can't really be a dumbass. But basically, I'm going to take up a Chevy Cruze. I'm going to bring back a Corvette. That's right, folks. I get to tow me a Corvette. Now, the cool thing is essentially, most of these cars nowadays, you pretty much just, you tire strap them and you go with that, because it's not like the good old days when I started towing, when you could just throw a sling under something, throw a couple of J-hooks underneath there, and it was steel on top of steel on top of steel. Most cars nowadays, you go to tow them, well, that means of doing so, you'll just rip the front end right off of it, and that is not good times. And so here on the 80s Podcast channel, I'm a trucking dude, I'm a driving dude, and I got my air horn. Good times. All right, folks, I'm going to break off on this segment, and we'll go from there. Good times. All right, you folks are probably going, okay, so what's it like to drive something fairly good size? Number one, it is slow. It's got the acceleration rate of a rabbit with, well, 3 legs missing. Basically, you got to wait for the turbo to pick up. Hills will kick your ass. Believe it or not, the steering on these things are very, very oversensitive. It's just a tweak about the way that things are basically built with a straight axle. They are very, very sensitive. Ruts in the road and whatnot, you really have to stay on top of these things. You kind of really have to micromanage them. In terms of driving them per se, once you get the things up to speed, they're doing okay until you find another hill, and then you're slowing back down again. And usually the guys driving the tractor trailers will walk away from you because, well, they just got a lot more turbo than you, and they got a damn sight more gears, because I've only got an automatic transmission in this particular truck. So it's a 5-speed, maybe a 6-speed, and there's just not enough gears. I mean, you get to a hill and it takes for frickin' ever for this thing to, well, pick up speed again. I mean, I'm barely touching it. I'm now going downhill. I don't have a Jake brake. I'm towing 75, and I don't even have foot on the gas pedal. Oh, and that's the other thing, too. This sucker's got air brakes. That's right. That's why I got an air horn, because I got air brakes. Now, it's detuned enough that basically you got to know what you're doing. You got to watch your air gauge. If you hear something hiss, you definitely got to stop. It's, rules of the road. You got to learn some stuff, and I've already driven things with air brakes, so it's not an issue. But just giving you guys kind of like a heads up and a little bit more behind the scenes. But I'm now getting ready to roll across the the Tidings Bridge, which would be the Susquehanna River in Maryland, and it's a fairly tall bridge. I mean, this thing's it's pretty good ways down, and there's a lot of crosswinds. So let me let you guys go for here, and let me drive this thing. See ya. Oh yeah, there's one thing I did forget. There's definitely something I forgot. When you're running something this big, you see a sign that says scales, you better stop. You better stop, or the cops are going to give chase and ask you why you didn't stop. I got that ticket once. Ouch. I'm not doing that again. Not fun. Alright, I know I'm going to have the question. They're going to go, hey dude, you seem like a fairly smart dude. How did you happen to get a ticket for running a scale? Well, it's pretty easy, actually. All day long I've been running a Ford F350, which is under scale weight, because it's basically too small a vehicle. In the course of the day, I jumped to a Ford F450. That's a Super Duty. That puts it into another weight class, and because those guys are basically a 2.5-ton truck, they are needing to hit the scales. Well, I forgot which truck I was driving, even though one was an automatic and one was a stick shift, and one happened to be red and one happened to be white. And I was in the white truck, which was the Super Duty. It was stick shift. I rolled by the scale, heading out to Frederick, Maryland. Coming back from Frederick, Maryland, the state trooper was nice enough to say, hey buddy, you didn't stop. Why didn't you stop? And I said, I'm a dumbass. I forgot which truck I'm in. And they're like, that's nice, mister. I'm a dumbass. Here's your ticket. Ugh. Yeah, well, it's a DOT rag. You got to stop at scales. Even if you really are driving only a tow truck, you're supposed to stop in the scales. Don't be a dumbass. Stop at the scales if you're driving something big enough. Okay, we are now officially almost into Delaware. Probably have another couple more stop and pays, also known as pay your toll. I got the easy pass, so it's not just a bad deal, but still a pain in the butt. Alright folks, I'm going to tail off on this segment and move on from there. Alright folks, we are now basically putting around. Wish I'd brought along my satellite radio, but unfortunately I'm now having to, well, pay the piper with broadcast radio, but I'm now jamming out to some Prince. Road Nirvana. It's called A Nice Day, a good truck, and some good tunes. Good times. Alright folks, those who are in the know, and those who know how to do stuff in the trucking world, know you gotta have an air ride seat. Hang on one second, let me give you a little demonstration here. That's an air ride seat. Basically what it is, it's like a big ass pillow that's full of air that basically lets the truck bounce all over the place and minimizes your movement and reduces the impact. Air ride seats are absolutely required shiznit. If you're running a truck long distance and you're running on a normal seat, man, it's going to bust your tailbone. Now, what's the other thing that you know and you adapt to because the truck bounces you like crazy? Number one, you're going to be doing tons of steering corrections because these things follow every crack in the roadway. It's just the nature of the beast. You get to learn these things when you drive these long enough. The other thing, too, is you learn how to drink a cup of coffee without spilling it all over yourself. For me, that is the Camelback with the sippy top. Man, these things are so badass. The only downside is, of course, you put coffee in there. It tastes like coffee even if you put nice water in there. So you got to learn how to wash them out and make them taste better. So there's a couple tricks of the trade you got to figure out. But, man, these PA cops are everywhere for Memorial Day. Well, I said it already enough times, folks. Thank you so very much for your service to our nation. Your sacrifice and your diligence is never, ever taken for granted on this channel. Thank you guys so very much. Those active and former service members, you guys rock. That's all there is to it. To absent companions. Yep, it's only coffee, but at least the sentiment's still there. To absent companions. Alright, folks, I'm going to rock and roll down the road some more. I don't know where Dover, New Jersey is, but that's where I'm heading to drop off this car and pick up the vet. So I'm going to keep on rolling and rolling. Good times. All right, folks, I know it's Memorial Day and it's still early. I mean, it's like, you know, not even like 10 o'clock in the morning looking at my watch here. But I'm driving in New Jersey, and excuse me, you know, Doc Simonson, I know you actually reside in Jersey, but these people drive like dumbasses. I mean, compounding it on the fact it's a holiday, I already hit the air horn twice, and they're like, oh, that is a truck. Yeah, dumbass, that is a truck. Ugh, you're cutting off a truck. I could probably change your day, and it'll definitely change your attitude when I, well, floor it and drive right over your dumbass. Ugh. Well, anyway, another day in my life. Ugh, these people suck. Alright folks, rocking the Pete. I'm sure you guys now wondering, why am I not concerned about clearance on things? Well, it's very simple. Tractor trailers are 13 feet, 6 inches, and basically, as long as you maintain the fact that you're under 14 feet or 13 feet, you're good to go. Now, what does this truck actually stack up as? This truck actually, with a car on the back, is not that tall. The tallest part of this truck is going to be, you know, the flashing beacon beam. You know, they call them beacon lights, the flashing yellow lights on the top of the tow truck. On this particular tow truck, it is roughly about maybe 10 feet and change. Now, it's an optical illusion. You approach these things and you swear you're going to clip something. But you can rest assured that if you look, well, alongside you in a tractor trailer, the trailer is so much taller than you, you don't have anything to worry about. So that's how I know for a fact I don't have any problems. If the tractor trailer zips underneath with plenty of room, I know I have gobs of room. I'm good to go. That's how you work that one out. Even though it looks like you're seriously going to clip that thing. And believe me, I've driven bigger trucks than this, and you swore you were going to hit stuff, but you don't. It's just an optical illusion. Like, watch this. You think you're going to hit. You're going to hit, but you don't. See? You're good to go. Alright, folks, you guys have seen cars being loaded and unloaded from tow trucks. I didn't need to show you those boring details, except, you know, the fact you're loading a normal-sized car in terms of road height and ground clearance, going to a little red Corvette. Pain in the butt, low as hell. I tried to load it my standard way that I've known of used for years. Oh, hell. Little damn Fiat's. First time I've seen one of those. Fiat 500. First time I've seen one of those things in country. Anyway, more normal way of loading these things, you throw a couple of 2x4s underneath the tires, and it gives you just enough clearance to get the car on there. Nah, not with this truck. This truck is a little too tall. The back end is even a little too tall. And I actually have a switch right here that actually I can switch that switch and it drops the back end because this is airbag rear suspension. So you flick the switch and it drops the back end down a ways. But Corvettes are so low that I got it on there as much as my sixth sense, my spidey sense was telling me stop. I got out and I never just drive a car on. That's stupid. I mean, that's the way you break stuff. Been doing this for too long, and I know when to stop. So I got the car at about, front wheels on the truck, and I'm looking at it like, nah, this is sketchy. This ain't gonna cut it. So I had to back it back off, had to jack the bed up, and then had to stick a couple of ramps underneath there and get the car up, that much more of a nice level progression from ground to back of truck. These things are low, man. I mean, I know in Europe they basically have what they refer to as the hump switch on a lot of like Lambos and the Bugatti Veyrons and what have you, because they just don't clear the speed bumps. I mean, you flick that switch, it gives you like an extra inch or two of ground clearance. It's just enough to get you over the hump, quite literally. In terms of American cars like the Corvette is absolutely the lowest car in the books. It's down there. Now the only thing that you got to really worry about is scuffing up a brand new car. And, this is a $70,000-$80,000 car. I'm not going to scuff it up. I mean, it's one of the Grand Sport convertibles. I'm not going to mess it up. It's a nice car, especially considering the fact that the thing is like cherry. That's just dumb. I'm not going to do that. Well, anyway, folks, I'm going to sign off on this segment, and you can see I got the vet on board, and I'm rolling on back down the roadway again. Good times. All right, folks, you guys are probably wondering, is the good old days of throwing a chain underneath the car and locking it down still in place? No, you don't do that to cars much anymore because it's just, there's not that much stuff to hook to. I mean, that Chevy Cruze, I even asked the guy I work for, Mrs. Dude's cousin's son, and I was like, well, dude, what's there left to hook to under there? And he goes, not much. And I took a look under there, and I said, you're absolutely right. There's really not much. So what do you do? He goes, well, what do you think? And I was like, dude, I'm thinking tire straps. He goes, yeah, that's pretty much what you got. You got tire straps. So basically, that's what it looks like. Not a great picture, but you can see there's like a strap that goes around the backside of the tire. There's a piece that goes in between that kind of has two tied ends on it, and the strap runs between it. So it kind of makes almost like a lasso with two knots. And then what you do is you have a ratchet on one side and a chain on the other end of the strap. The one end of the strap locks into the bed and goes around the tire. Then, of course, there's the piece in between. And, of course, now you have the other end, which has a ratchet on it to cinch it down and pull it into the bed. So what happens is you're pulling each tire into the bed, and apart from one another, it locks the car down. Now, the other thing, too, is just, for sake of accident, and you always truly wish that never occurs, you always do something called safety chaining. That's where you have a chain on the back end of the car going to the back end of the truck. So if you have a panic stop or an accident, the car doesn't keep flying forward and run into the back of your head. Also, that's something on the back of these trucks. On the back side of the cab and on the front of the bed, there's something called a headache rack. Doesn't really show it too good because I'm trying to do it while driving, but it's basically a big piece of steel that stops the car from running into the back of your head at about, the same speed as which you were going until you stopped. Because that's the pain about inertia. You can even ask, well, you can't ask him now because he's dead. Okay, when you finally reach your moment of passage and you get, the saving grace from St. Peter and you get to talk to Einstein, you can ask him, where did he ever come up with the theory about something in motion stays in motion until it stops? Oh, wait a minute, no, that was before him. That was Newton. Oh, okay, well, probably you have to talk to St. Peter and ask him where Newton's hanging out now. He's probably, shooting the breeze with Einstein, and, I'm just waxing philosophic. Okay, well, let me give you another technical thing here. Looking inside the truck, you have a multitude of gauges. Of course, you got your tachometer. Of course, you got your speedometer. You have a oil pressure, a oil temperature. You got a gauge here that tells you how much air you're sucking, how much vacuum you're producing from the filters, because when the filters get dirty, you start making a lot more vacuum. It doesn't work as good. Got a gas gauge, got a voltmeter, got an air pressure gauge, because these are air brakes, and of course do have the main transmission oil temperature. Man, Bambi's getting That's like the 6th or 7th Bambi I've seen splatted on this run. Well, anyway, you have a multitude of gauges here to let you know everything the truck is doing. Because if the truck's not doing it, you're not doing it, you're going broke. I think I'm going to break on this part. And, unfortunately, I didn't find any White Castle on this trip, so I'm probably going to hit the hit of Roy Rogers on my way back, because I'm jonesing for some chow. I could really deal with a nice bacon cheeseburger about now. All right, folks, I'm going to break off on this segment. Cheeseburgers. Actually, bacon cheeseburgers. Good times. Hey, folks, I'm on our way back, and this is the Susquehanna Tidings Bridge. This is one tall mofo. If you come over here, you got a long way to go down, man. That is a long trip down. It's pretty good size, kind of cool, pretty high up. It's one of the main drags to get you from one side to the other, the main drag here, and kind of lets you know that you're getting close back to the part of town in which you're trying to get back to is basically like my part. But this is a good sign. I'm back over the bridge. I'm out of New Jersey, and, well, that never hurts. I'm a native born New Yorker, okay? I don't like New Jersey. Sorry. Apologies to Doc Simonson. I know, well, he's stuck there. I'm not. I'm stuck in the other republic of, well, Eastern Seaboard stupid liberalism. You know it. You love it. Maryland. And that's Republic with a K, like the Bundesrepublik, the People's Republic. No, not quite. They're a bunch of control freak jerks. I live here. Yuck. Alright, I didn't find the White Castle, but I'm not suffering too bad with the old Roy Rogers rocking me the bacon cheeseburger. Good times. These fries freaking rock. Excuse me, I'm in the middle of my lunch. I'm going to get right back to it now because I'm hungry. Good times. Alright, so I guess you guys want to have the money shot. Let me give you the money shot here. Come on out the Pete. Come on out the Pete. Big ass tires. Big ass truckie. Big ass truckie. And I think it's a 19-foot bed. Pretty good sized piece of work here. And that is, there's truck one. Going on up to the front here. That's most definitely the old Pete-O-Matic. Good times. Alright, so folks, this is basically me doing a tow job, and you guys got to ride along. Good times.